Hello world, I'm Bella Storm, and I had something amazing happen today. There have been so many things leading up to this that I wanted to share with you, and I decided to do it in video format. So bear with me here. This is my first attempt at this, so we'll see how it goes. But I've been on this amazing spiritual journey for some time now. I mean, there's so much to share with you. A whole lifetime of stories. So we won't deal with all that today. But what I want to share with you is that here lately, I've been feeling like almost like a death was coming. You know, like maybe I had to die in order for someone else to live, and it kept getting stronger and stronger. And so one morning this week, I think it was maybe Tuesday, this is Thursday by the way, July 25th. So on Tuesday morning I'd had this thought in my meditation as I was laying there meditating, and this thought came up about what if your husband has this great purpose. He's got a very important role here that he needs to do, and so we need to take all your gifts, these gifts that your friend Martin, he mentioned on Sunday night. He was saying all these wonderful, humbling things about me, and all those attributes and qualities and characteristics though that he mentioned that I have. The thought came that, well, what if you have to die so that we can transfer that spirit, that energy, that positivity that you have. We need to bottle that up, and we need to get that to him, because his purpose is greater. And so in order for him to live, you must die. And I was like, you know what? I can do that. I am willing to do that. Because that's what has been so prevalent in my mind these past couple of years while I've been on this journey, is how I felt so strongly since like 2010. So for the past 3 years, there's this greater purpose that I've got this. Of course it's kind of cliche, right? A lot of people will say that to you. They'll say, oh, I feel like there's some big purpose I have, something more, something grand. I want to help a lot of people. I want to make a difference in so many lives. You hear a lot of people say that. That's how I felt. And so to have that come up though Tuesday morning, where if for some reason we needed to transfer these gifts from you to him, because for whatever reason it's going to be him that's going to fulfill this purpose. Are you willing to die? And I was just, yes, I would. I would do that. If it helps the greater good, if it helps even a few, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. We've heard that from many different places, so yeah, I was like, that's okay. Well, then today in my class, my coaching class, I'm in the QSCA program, the Quantum Success Coaching Academy, and for whatever reason today, I dialed in on the phone. Instead of being on the webinar like I always am, I decided I was going to dial in. So I called in, and we're doing this future visioning, where you're looking at your future self and looking at the various areas of life, various aspects of life. So I'm looking at spiritual, and on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is not at all, 10 is totally, you're at that ideal future vision that you have for yourself, you're there. And so we were supposed to rate ourselves in these areas, so spiritual, physical, financial, career, emotional, mental, relationships, social, all these areas. And so I went around the wheel, and for most of them, I was at 90%. Physical, I'd rated 80 because I feel like there's still more that I can do there. And financials at 60, not quite where I'd want it to be. And relationships, having some issues there. Like, put that at 50%. And the reason is that everything is a reflection of us and what's going on inside. And when you take 100% responsibility for that and own that, you can start making changes and making a difference, and positive changes. When you realize that it's all a reflection of what's happening inside you. So if I'm feeling rejected by my partner, my husband, whomever, if you're feeling rejected by that person, what is it inside of you that you are rejecting? If you feel unloved, what parts and aspects of you are you not loving and embracing? So that's why I'd rated that area so low. But the reason that it's been low is because of some things that happened all the way back, when I was 16 years old. Some of you know I've got that marker, the Creating Queen, too. It's like Bella Storm, the Creating Queen. And the Creating Queen created the pregnant teen created the Creating Queen. It's like this, I've come full circle finally, full circle in my life. Back at 16 though, when I became that unwed pregnant teen, that affected a lot of different things for me. It was like I felt like I had cheated. I'd cheated myself. I had goals and dreams and things like that. And when I gave into that moment of temptation to have unprotected sex, I cheated on myself because I had that intuition, that inner self, that inner knowledge had spoken up and said, is this really the right time of the month to be doing this? It was like that voice spoke up, and I just was like, it'll be fine. And that from that first one and only time, I got pregnant. And I learned then that life doesn't end. Bad things don't happen. Life goes on. Amazing things can still happen when you have belief, vision, trust, and take action. And that's what I did. So even though I was in that I was a pregnant teen, life went on. And I still had all those things. I had my vision, and I had a belief in a divine creator. And because I didn't get struck down by lightning or something else happening, something horrible, like how I'd been raised in church, they always talked about that and stuff, and it just never did really resonate with me. It wasn't like if I turned on my truth barometer inside, that did not ring as truth for me. And then having gone through that incident, it was like, oh my gosh, it's a loving creator. Why ever we're all here, right? We were all born into this world the same as babies. All of us. The world over. And we're born in love. Like, it's like you wouldn't know anything else. So it's either love or lack of love. There is health and wellness or a lack of health and wellness. There is prosperity or the lack of it. And so, I'm sorry, kind of, like I said, first video, so kind of bouncing around a little bit. Please try to follow. So back at that 16 though, having that knowledge of there's, it's a loving God. It's not somebody who's going to judge and criticize and condemn. I did that. I judged myself. I rejected a portion of myself, a piece of myself. I became impatient instead of waiting for my plan to unfold and listening to divine inspiration. Like, if I had listened to that voice that said, this is not the right time to do this, then my life would have taken a different path. How much different? I really don't think it would have been that different, because my life ended up going along, and I have created so much. That's why I chose that moniker, that my stake in the ground, the shingle that I hang out, is the Creating Queen, because I still created the life of my dreams. It was amazing. It has been amazing. And what happened today was, seeing that, it was like I've limited myself in those areas because of that incident at 16. And I'd held on to some things, like how I'd cheated on myself, how I had rejected. I had this rejection and that impatience too. And so when I realized that and I embraced it and I asked myself for forgiveness, it's been amazing what has happened. Because today, after doing that wheel, and we talked about how it's possible to expand yourself, to get to 10s in every area of life. That's what we're meant to achieve. We're all meant to have that. We're all meant to experience that. And we went through an exercise. The instructor had an exercise, and another member of the class had started, raised his hand to do the exercise, and when she went to call on him, he wasn't there. There was silence on the line. She kept asking, Sonny, are you there? Nothing. So she's like, well, let me tell you about the exercise and then we'll go on. Hopefully he'll get, connected. And she did that, told us. Tried again. He wasn't there. She's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to find somebody else. Now remember, I had said I normally participate via webinar, but today, for whatever reason, I'd listened to that intuition, which I'm getting better at these days. Listen to that intuition, and I got to thinking, I'm like, should I do this or not? And I was like, will I regret it if I don't? Yes, star 2. And Julie was like, oh, well, here, we've got a volunteer. I don't have to call on somebody. Beth, let's do this exercise. Are you ready? And I'm like, face the fear and do it anyway. Let's do it. And I happened to step outside onto the deck to do it because, one, the dog is inside and I didn't want her barking like she is now. She heard me say that. So I didn't want her barking while I was inside on the call. So I came out here, and plus it was a beautiful day, absolutely gorgeous day. And I thought, why not be outside for this? So she had me stand, and she was like, I want you to, we're going to have you kind of go from point to point. It's going to be like, I'm going to have you look at 5 different roads. And so I was standing right over here, and she said, okay, so I'm going to have you get ready and look at road number 1. So I was standing like I am now for this camera, the direction I kind of have the camera. And again, that little inner voice is kind of like, no, this doesn't feel right. So I turned to the west there and stood there for road number 1. And so she's asking me how that road looks. It's a dark road. How does it feel? And we went through that. And then she said, okay, I want you to turn a little bit to road number 2. That's a dull road. Again, we talked about that. How does it feel? What's it look like to you? And then road number 3. I turned a little bit more. And that was just the good road, Had me, again, what does it look like to you? How does it feel? Road number 4. I turned a little bit more. I'm actually, in that point, was kind of facing kitty corner to the brick. And she's like, how's that look? I'm like, well, that looks like the wheel that I drew. It's basically, I'm pretty much expanded in most areas other than, there are 2. And, that little third one's pretty darn close. But that's what that road looks like. That's that, I forget the name even. it was better than good, but not quite amazing. So, so that's where I was, I was kind of like, see, and once I get past something, I can't hardly remember what it was. Like when I go to change something from negative to a positive version, I can't remember the negative way when I go to share the story with somebody. So, anyway, so we look at 4, and I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm at. So then she says, okay, now I want you to turn to road 5. And I want you to look, because that's the amazing, bright life. That is your future self's vision. That's what you've envisioned for your future self. All those dreams, the hopes, the goals, whatever it is that you want is on road 5. And she's like, okay, so now tell me, what does that look like? What does it feel like? And this is where it gets a little woo, but you see that window right there? I ended up facing that window. When I turned to road 5, I was looking at my reflection in that window. Sunny and bright, because the sun was shining over the roof at the time. And I was standing just like this, kind of how it is right now, although I'm facing this direction instead of the brick wall, the way the sun's doing its thing today. So I was just like this. From my chest up was all in bright sun. It was like I was all lit up, like an angel, like an earth angel that I wrote you about a couple posts ago. So here's this bright light shining, and we're talking about it, and I see, and I'm looking in that reflection of the window, and it's like, oh my gosh, there I am. I'm smiling. I'm happy. It is bright. It's beautiful. I can see all this grandiose, heaven on earth behind me. And it's like, there it is, sweetie. Everything you've wanted is right there. It's right there. Now, that had my instructor in tears. I don't know about everybody else. I was almost in tears by this, because it was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing thing. Amazing. Like I was meant to do that exercise for whatever reason. And now I've had the revelations, 2 more, that prompted me to make this video. Just stop what I was doing and make this video. So the one was about that death. I got to thinking about that, because I came in a little while ago. It was almost like I had this sense of like that death thing again. Like, oh my gosh, what if I have to die in order to move forward, or somebody else to move forward or something? And I'm sending texts to my friends and my family. When I went back out to do some more mowing, that's when I realized, oh my God, it was that old me that had to die. I went through the process on Sunday of what it was that was causing these issues in the relationship. What was I holding on to? What were those negatives that I was holding on to that was creating these issues in our relationship? And that was the cheating on myself. I cheated on myself, and therefore I'm cheating in our relationships, in my marriages. I had a first marriage, that one's over, and I'm on my second marriage, and it's like, I realized, if I don't resolve whatever this is, it's going to manifest again, and it's just going to keep manifesting with each relationship thereafter. So I've got to resolve this. So there was that rejection, the judgment, I needed to get to the point of self-acceptance. And then there was the impatience. How I'd rushed into a situation, again, that inner voice saying, is this really what you're supposed to be doing? And it was like, no, but not honoring it and going forward. So I resolved that. I had apologized. I had asked forgiveness of the self, the gift to myself, to forgive myself for that, so I could move on, so that healing could begin. Like I said, Tuesday was, what if we had to take all those wonderful things that your friends said about you. The energy, the light, the radiance, the positivity, the energy, that just all that's, I mean, oh my gosh, to have someone say that about you is humbling. Have someone say, when you're near, you light up the room, you inspire us, you motivate us, you uplift us. And to have that thought of, what if we've got to take that and we've got to transfer it to somebody else. Well, remember, he's a reflection of what's going on inside of me. He's a reflection of what's going on inside. And that's what I started to realize as I was moment was like, oh my gosh, that old me had to die today doing that exercise. It was like, had to die so that, I could give that gift to him, but him is a reflection of me. He's got all this, the love, the caring that I didn't have for myself. I didn't have for myself at the time. And so he was holding on to that part. And when you added in my things that I did do well and was embracing, and when you combine all that together, it created the whole me. And now you're all gonna laugh when you see this next revelation. I did. I was out there mowing, just laughing like crazy. It was like, oh my gosh, really? The universe, the divine creator, the angels, it's play. It's laughing and fun and play. And that's what we're meant to do. That's what we're here for. And that's what I've been like, that's been part of it too. Like, getting upset like, why isn't he playing with me? Well, I wasn't playing with myself. I wasn't embracing that anymore. I had been, and I'd kind of gotten away from it. And so last night kind of had that reminder of, you got to play and have fun. And getting on the call today, doing that exercise, going back in time. We did a meditation going back in time, and it was like I realized that my future self, like the self today that did that, had gone back there and showed her, it's going to be okay. You're still going to achieve a lot of your dreams. You still have a life full of love and light, and there's going to be a little more work you got to do, but you're going to get there. And so what I realized, Moen, look what shirt I put on today. Look what that shirt says. And I saw it when I was looking in the reflection of the window, but I didn't say anything. See that? Remember the books that were so popular last year, that gray, Shades of Gray, 50 Shades of Gray and stuff? Well, my daughter, and before anybody says anything, she's older. She's 25 now. So she's an older girl. And so we were having fun reading those books and laughing and talking about it and stuff. And she was working at an art fair last year, and she ended up getting me this shirt. She's like, oh, Mom, I saw it and I thought of you. Laters, baby. And look, it's got the handcuffs, kind of like I had been imprisoned. These past 28 years, it's the age of my son, from that one-time experience. My wonderful baby boy. Love him to death. Love my baby girl that I'm just talking about who got me this shirt. They light me up. They and my husband light me up. Anyhow, she got me this shirt, and I realized that's what I was wearing today when I went through that exercise. And I'm looking at that reflection in the window there. You can see it's still reflecting some stuff. I'm looking at that reflection, seeing that bright future self. And then as we were talking a little bit more, I kind of leaned back a little bit, and I saw that glistening. I saw that, picking up the glitter and stuff. And all I was thinking was the bling. I wasn't thinking about what it said until just a little bit ago when I finally was like, oh my God, I got to go in, and I'm going to create a video about this. I'm going to share this with you guys. This was big. This is important. So yeah, it was laters, baby. I broke out of those handcuffs and am marching forward ready to see where this takes me. Who knows? Who knows? But I've got visions. I still have visions for that future self. And turning around that window and seeing her smiling, having fun, loving life, loving all her friends and family, embracing everything that I've learned to this point. Wow. It's amazing. It's fun. Loving life, loving the divine creator, loving everyone around me, love and blessings to everyone. And like I posted before, it's meant for everyone. It is meant for everyone. That's your birthright. That's one of your birthrights. And it's getting through all of this stuff, these lessons that we need to learn, these experiences that we need to have in order to get to this awareness, this awakening, this enlightenment. I've been there. I've done it. And you can too. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is going to be a fun journey to see what happens now. It's like, laters, baby. I've broken out of those handcuffs. So let's just see where this goes, where it takes us. I'm looking forward to it. So, love and blessings.